Have your attention. Here are the naked pieces of wood. So you can see when something is raw, how it will just pick up the elements, water damage, staining, nails, words on it, and then can't get any rawer than a brand new replica box. Maybe it's supposed to look like a cheese box. Who doesn't love a bench? Whether to use, to sit on, to style your decor on. But it's a little bit weird, probably had a purpose, with these little triangles. I mean, I probably would pass it if I wasn't a person who liked to make things over. I always feel it can't hurt to try. So nailed on is what it looks like. Try to hammer. Haha. Easier. You just work through it until you figure out what will work. No problem. Going back in and getting the nails out. I say that until I have to get the nails out. Sometimes if you can't get them out, I mean, it looks like I am, just hammer them back in so they're flush. There's that. So sweeping off the cobwebs. Oh, that's why I don't like the raw wood like that. You can sand it because it does. It grabs onto the cobwebs. Now I have some pallet wood. Though, I mean, I know I don't have as thick of wood as that's pretty thick. It doesn't really matter. We just want to put some decorative. If I want to take that off, I could change it out for some less thick wood. I'm like using some pieces that are a little bit like not perfect to give it more character. I'm just going to, because that, run a marker. That wood is pretty raw, so I'm going to go ahead and sand this a little bit so when I go to paint it, I'm not having all that rough texture. We're going to do some Titebond glue. I know the previous piece wasn't glued, but I just like to make it a little bit more secure. And then this piece on top is a little bit on the wonky side, so this will help keep it all together. I want the detail. I didn't have that much glue. I went down too far. That's okay. Now, corner that. I can wipe the glue off. And then more bread. Oh, I forgot to change out the brad nails. These little ones are not going to hold it. I got these brad nails. Different day, different project, different need. Okay, try again. I'm going to take the bigger piece of wood off because at that point I would just be remaking a whole new piece. So there's nothing wrong with it. So it sticks out a little bit farther. It would have been a footrest for somebody who was like a small child. I want to sand this, but I don't want these nails sticking out. So I got everything round. I don't know what it is about sharp corners that bothers me. Like when you pick up a piece, it hurts your hand. So all I'm going to do is dust this off because I pretty much sanded off any of the grime. Because if I put water on this right now, I'm just going to have to wait hours for it to dry out. So we're just going to get the rest of it dusted. Now when it comes to shellacking, because I want the piece to have some character when I paint it, the shellac is filling in the raw wood. It's acting like a primer, but don't think I only do one coat. That first coat is just going to soak in. So this was probably because it's such raw wood, it's going to need 3 coats. The second coat will then fill in anything that I missed the first coat. The third coat will then finish it all off and give it the protection I'm looking for. So I think 2 cups give or take a little bit extra. So this is a 1/4 cup of the denim, and then 1/2 teaspoon, which this is a 1/4, so, and then 2 of the black, just to deepen it up a little bit. Of course, I'm going to start with the underneath first. That way, since we usually don't paint the wee bottom feet, you know, like these, we should be able to flip it over and get the whole thing done. Should I have tried denim on its own? Maybe, but I already could tell that it was going to be a little bit lighter than I was looking for this project anyway. A little bit of black goes a long way. Very. And I mixed up, the directions will tell you equal parts water, but I wanted it a little bit thicker so I could get hopefully a chippy aged look. Okay, let's see if we can flip it. Sure we can. Sure we can, yep. So I mixed up my second batch. That way it didn't get too thick on me. If you find out it's too thick, then you just add more water. If it's too thin, you have to add more powder. So I don't know. Even with 3 coats of shellac, it's still a little bit raw. Probably would have been different if I had the painted version, like the can version that you just use with a brush, but this is what it's going to be. Sometimes, you know, you get motivated to do something and you're like, oh, I wish I had this, and that differently, but I don't. I'm with y'all. Not to end this store in my shop, that's for sure. Oh, that is a yummy, yummy color. I don't know if the black helped out or not, but I'm loving on it. We are going to go ahead and distress it. So we're going dark. I'm going to be adding Jolie's black wax. Oh, and you're like, it's black, it's black. You got to get it on there first before you can rub it off. As eraser, I'll do the aging because your darker colors, sometimes clear, will turn chalky. So we're going to add some of the aging to it. Wax on, wax off. Oh, that color. I know, it's probably coming off really black. Oh, it's so heavy. It's coming off really black, but it's not. It is a beautiful, prim, old-timey. Oh, my heart is so happy right now. Okay. Not what it was before, what it is now. Raw wood cubbies, but you can see what happened in the workshop. I'm sure it was a workshop piece. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Though I'm not going to leave the screws. I know the screws are kind of cute, but it's not like there's 4 different screws. There's 2 different, but no. But I am going to deal with this first because that's not good. I don't know about you all, but I don't really like splinters, so I'm going to use some Star Bond. This is the medium, and I'm just going to go and see what I can fill in of this. Yes, you could use a wood fill or a Bondo, something. I'm just going to see if I can tighten this up. It's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect, but we don't want it, like I said, giving anybody a sliver. So this has a dryer that within like 15 seconds it will dry. And then I'm going to go this way because then now it's hardened it up, thickened it up. And so when I sand it, whatever comes off, it's okay. But it's not just all going to flake off now. Now we have some solid pieces. Okay, we'll get these screws out. Hopefully they're not stripped. Nope. Okay, I am going to give a scuff sanding. So I know you're thinking like, okay, so it's raw wood. Why did you scuff sand it? Since it's been a used piece, it picks up those elements, your oils. So there could be something on there inside the wood that would prevent my new paint from sticking, even though, I do distress and chippy. That's my jam. I want to get that off, especially since I'm not really going to other than dust it off because the water will just fill in the very porous raw wood. So you just kind of scuff sand it. I usually use an 80 grit. I usually use 80 grit, and that'll leave it nice and rough. And even after the shellac, I don't resand it because that raises those fibers and gives my paint something to stick onto. I don't want a shiny surface. It's more apt to come off more than I want it to if I make a slick, smooth surface. Got a nice little angle on here, so I guess we will just tape it off at that angle. Think of like a workshop, like somebody would have made something, though this was left raw wood. I think of like just industrial, like the green, whatever they had in the shop. So I'm going to be using some limestone chalk paint by Fusion in the moss color. Really brings it together. So I'm just going to go ahead. It's got great, amazing coverage, y'all. When I do the second coat, I usually like take a mister bottle and mist it. That way that dry paint isn't, or the wet paint isn't taking the dry paint off. When you get those paints that you can water distress, sometimes it does that. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a sanding. I haven't sealed it in with anything. I'm looking for a distress. Now to wax and seal this in, I still didn't put any clear coat. I'm going to start off with Fusion's antiquing wax, and then I'm going to add Jolie's black wax, and we'll see what happens. I felt like I knew that I was going to have it be, because the moss is so bright. Dress it a little bit because it's a limestone chalk paint, so then a little bit of black. A little bit of black always goes way farther than you think it's going to. Really makes a difference, doesn't it? Just adds so much character. Okay, well, I tried one of my favorite porcelain knobs that I have a ton of. Well, when you find them in an antique store for $5 for a bag, what can you do? So, have to do it. But it's a little unfinished box. There's so much you could do with it. But I think I'm going to make it into a little cubby shelf using some of this raw pallet wood. Though, just because this fits in there, it's not a tight fit. I'm still going to have to cut it this way and see if I can make up 2 shelves. It's easier to sand big pieces. I'm going to go ahead and sand like the area I think I'm going to use, and then I'll cut it down. Okay, so I sanded both areas like in here that I want to use. So now I'm going to line this up, take a pencil, try to keep that pencil all the way towards that side. Now I'm just going to trace it. I don't want the nails. Okay, we have 2 little cubbies, or 2 shelves, though I'm going to probably like stain these, so I'm actually just going to be painting this. Shellac does come in a can where you can just brush it on, and I'm out of it at the moment, but that way you're like just doing 1 coat. It's a little bit heavier than what the spray is. Now I taped off the back because I'm going to try to stain that to match what the shelves I put in there. Stain the shelves. I have some antiquing wax and ink, chalk paint by Waverly mixed up, and I'm just going to give them a weathered look, shaking them back down to where they were before I sanded them. See? Something about stained wood and white. So I'm going in with flour sack to do the little, I'm calling it newfangled cheese box. Oh, the inside. It's nice not to have a runny paint. Though when you mix it up thick, you kind of have to, instead of doing multiple coats, you're just waiting longer for it to dry. But you got to wait for the coats to dry anyway. Now, as it sits, it does get thicker. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. Try not to add too much. Before I could put my shelf together, I got to finish this off by sanding. It's got some beautiful crackles going on to really give it that aged look. That crusty edge. I still got another step before I can try to attach those. We're going to do clear, distill in that milk paint, aging wax, and bring out some of the crazing and details. And I'm just gonna, might as well just do it on the back. Wax on, wax off. And if it's too dark, just add a little bit more clear to it. going to kind of eyeball. They don't have to be completely centered. Switch back over to my smaller though. And that's just asking to go wonky on me. Yes, I was nervous. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Yes, you do not have to be naked and afraid of raw wood anymore. I hope that I have shared with you how to prep it, how to get it to accept paint without just sucking paint in there, with filling it in with the primer of shellac. I use shellac because shellac is clear and then it doesn't interfere with my final look of distressing. So I hope you enjoyed today's content. I hope I spiked your interest and shared a little knowledge of trial and error through the years of how to work with raw wood. We will see you next time, and you can see what I'm up to. Bye.